Welcome to Can I Park Here? Brought to you by FindAFashionTruck.com. Nashay and Estrell's mission is to inspire future and existing small business owners. They don't claim to be experts. They're simply trying to figure this all out, just like you.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Can I Park Here podcast, brought to you by StartAFashionTruck.com. My name is Nashay, and I'm here with
Estrell.
Hey, folks. Estrell is fresh off of her weekend at Renegade, and I must say she is a little feisty.
What does that mean? I'm just tired. It's
tired.
a lot out of me.
Cranky.
It was great. It was great, but exhausting at the same time.
Yes. That's what a 2-day craft fair will do to you.
Yeah. There was so many people. Oh, my God. But hey.
The introvert in you wanted to crawl up into a ball.
It did. My face was hurting from smiling so much. And saying hi to people. My cheeks were the muscles in my cheeks, they literally hurt.
Listeners, you should get this, but she doesn't smile. She's kind of mean. So this is why.
Yeah, my face is not used to that position.
That's so terrible. So terrible.
I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to go to fix my face? It hurts.
That's so terrible. I can't.
Oh, are people going to be able to see how much pain I'm in right now?
Yeah, they probably were like, she's smiling weird. Normal people don't smile like that.
Shut up.
But anyway, last week's guest was in business for 1 year. And this week's guest has been in business for 2 years. So we were able to actually really do 3 stages consecutively. Someone just starting 1 year and then 2 years. So we hope this will be helpful for you guys.
Yeah. So Maggie is the owner of Garish Gal in Indiana. And she is going to tell us all about her story and how she's been able to last the last couple of years and become a success. And by the way, I love the name Garish Gal. That is one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a cute truck. And she has really cool style too. But just one funny is while you're listening to the episode, you'll hear a little cha-ching. And that was Estrell making a sale. I was kind of jealous that wasn't my phone doing a cha-ching sound.
Really?
And for the listeners out there, if you sell anything through Etsy or Shopify or anything like that, it makes this cha-ching sound. And so there's this, I don't know, it's this euphoric state where you're like, oh my God, I made a sale.
Yes.
And so I heard that sound and I was like, but it's not my phone. No.
Yeah, so I felt super awesome when that cha-ching happens. And then when we are done with this call, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up an order to ship it out.
Rub it in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad.
Anyway, let's get to Maggie. Her story is pretty cool, and we think you guys will like her.
Here we go.
Hello, and welcome to the Can I Park Here podcast. We have Maggie with us from the Garish Gal. Welcome, Maggie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for talking to us on this Monday evening. Can you tell the listeners a little bit just about you and kind of why you decided to start the fashion truck?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Maggie Talbert, and I own Garish Gal. And it started out as an online boutique only. I had been living in New York City for 2 years, and I actually was an account executive, a junior account executive at the clothing brand Kinsey. And my boss and I worked directly with Macy's and Macy's.com. And when I moved back home, I had so much experience with Macy's.com. I thought, I'm just going to start an online boutique. and ended up a couple months after, it wasn't picking up as much as I thought it would. And, the Midwest, as much technology as there is, they still like to be hands-on. They want to be in the store. They want your input. And I kind of missed the input part. I worked for Chanel for a while, and I loved like being in the boutique with people and getting them the perfect thing for them. And so I was talking to a friend, and she said, well, why don't you start a fashion truck? And so I started looking in and doing different research. I'm the worst driver that there is on this earth. So I was a little worried about a truck. And I found this other boutique who had made one out of an enclosed cargo trailer that you could just hook up to a truck and somebody else could drive for me. And I wouldn't have to get into an accident or 5 or 10. So I ended up buying an enclosed cargo trailer, and my grandpa and I put it all together, did the whole project with each other, which was a really cool experience to, have that with my grandpa and those memories. But my dad and my grandpa thought I was crazy because I brought them a vision board and told them, okay, this is what we're going to do. But then when it came together, it was awesome. And now I've had the business for almost 2 years, October 1st, and the truck for almost a year. And the business with the truck has been incredible. So much awesome response. And August has been the best month in the history of Garish Gal. So that was pretty awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, the truck has for sure been a game changer.
So have you gotten any better with your driving? Like, is it easy to drive with the trailer?
I've only driven it a couple of times, and I can safely say I haven't gotten into any accidents, but I also haven't backed it up. But I did just purchase a backup camera for it because I have become one of those people who only uses my backup camera on my car and doesn't remember how to back up without one. So in my dad's effort to help me learn how to drive this, which is so ironic because my dad works for UPS. He was a driver for a long time, and he's a supervisor now. So the fact that his daughter can't drive very well is like an abomination to...
He's like, where did I go wrong?
Exactly. But it has gotten a little better. I mean, I think once I get a little more comfortable and remind myself to pay attention.
Do you work by yourself a lot?
I do. I also have an intern who's been awesome help. Just with so many events that I've been picking up lately, I can't do it by myself, which is awesome, to be able to say I can't do it all on my own anymore. So I do have an intern, and she helps with a couple of different things. Like today I couldn't be there to take pictures of the model, so she took the pictures and she's uploading them to Dropbox now, and then I'll put all the product on the website. Because I've really had great response. If I post a picture of myself, like when it comes in on Instagram, I'll have people right then and there want to buy it, which has really been a great avenue as well.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so definitely have been able to bring on someone to help me, which has been such a blessing because I was freaking out on my own.
Now, where did you find your trailer?
So I live in a really small town in Indiana, and the really small town next to me actually sells just a bunch of different types of those cargo trailers. And so I went over and I talked to them a couple different times, and I looked all around, and they actually had the best pricing. And I had a little custom done, because I wanted to put in kind of like a false wall so I could put a door so that the heating and air conditioning would stay inside the truck.
Mm-hmm.
They had that put in for me, and it was actually done pretty quickly. It's all assembled in America. It's actually assembled a couple hours from me in northern Indiana, and then they just brought it straight to me. And then my grandpa and I worked together. We put in like laminate wood floor. We went with like a rustic kind of like metal look for the like fixtures. Mm-hmm. And then he is really great at woodworking. So he built like all the cabinetry and like the little checkout desk as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got lucky. My grandpa's a Mr. Do-It-All.
Yes, it's very helpful when you have somebody to be able to work on the renovations.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it definitely, if I don't like it, he's not going to get mad at me. And, if something happens, he comes back and fixes it, no problem. So,
Well, I think that's a good idea too for like even people who are thinking about owning a mobile like trailer or boutique. It's having that vision board too. I like that you went to them with like, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. I think people forget about vision boards. I feel like they're starting to gain like more popularity now. Like people are even doing vision boards for their wardrobe and their life. So I think that's amazing. And it's pretty cool that they were able to like follow it too, because the inside is pretty cool. I'm just looking at it here on the Instagram.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I've actually learned a lot more about vision boards when I was working in fashion in New York. We had one for every single upcoming collection that they were designing. And actually, Macy's would always request our vision board because they wanted to see what was coming. And so I even had a friend that I worked with for her kid's second birthday party. She created a vision board. And it's just kind of a cool way to get all your ideas together. And I love Pinterest and I like got all my pictures from Pinterest, but I am still very hands-on. Like I want to be able to go over and look at the board and take pictures on and off. And so mine was more like I got a cardboard from the dollar store and printed out all the pictures, kind of like put them all cutesy on there. And I swear my dad and my grandpa looked at me like, are you serious with this?
But no, it's like pretty cool because I'm like a Pinterest junkie. Like I probably have a
Yeah,
problem.
she is. She does. She does.
It's a
so
problem.
addicting.
But even with my regular boards and my secret boards, I still like, of course, like I still get catalogs in the mail and I still like even tearing them out and taping them in books. So I can then go through these themed books of like furniture I want or whatever it might be. So I haven't tried like the poster board yet, but I kind of like that too of having this kind of mishmash of everything taped together that you could always use as a reference point, to see what pictures you like, what textures you like, what you may or may not want to buy in the future. So no, I think it's pretty cool.
Right. And I think, you can always explain your idea to somebody, but then they'll look at you like you're crazy. But when you show them your idea, then, it clicks in their head and they understand and know where you're going. And I think that way, you can be direct and say, this is exactly what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And instead of kind of being vague and it not turning out how you want.
Okay, so Garish Gal, how did you determine what the name of your truck was going to be? Where did that come from?
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit of a fun story, but I grew up in a small town and my whole family on my dad's side actually lives in this small town. But I had a great aunt and she was just this fabulous lady. She had moved away and lived in downtown Chicago. She lived in a penthouse, just lived this really fabulous life. And once she got older and her husband passed away, she moved back to my small town. And my sister and I would go over and hang out with her all the time. And she wore all black all the time. She wore heels so much throughout her life that literally her house slippers had to be heels because her feet were messed up from heels.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, she was just this fabulous fashion lady, and I always looked up to her. And she had this, she'd always say, each one of your outfits has to have a little garish. Even if you're wearing all black, there's that piece that, sets you apart and it makes you a little garish. And, if you look up the word garish on Google, it kind of means like obtrusive or kind of different out there. And that was something that always stuck with me. And so when it came to my business, I thought, you know what? This is going to be something different that people in this area in the Midwest really haven't seen. And it's going to be different. And that's what sets it apart. And so that's why I chose the name. And it was also kind of paying homage to her too, because, she went out to Chicago and followed her dreams and had like this incredible career. She was a writer and got to interview like Helen Keller.
Oh, wow.
Coming from a small town of less than 800 people, she was just someone that came and followed her dreams. And I wanted to do the same thing and kind of just always remember that when I see the name of my business.
I was going to ask too, because we had I forgot who it was that was on, but they were talking about how like the Midwest is kind of different than like maybe East Coast, like New York, or like West Coast, let's say San Francisco or LA. And so sometimes in the Midwest, when you are very fashionable and different, like finding people who are also that way and also want to kind of purchase your type of products could be difficult. Did you find that to be difficult, or was it pretty easy to find customers that loved your style and wanted to purchase the products that you had in your boutique?
I will say, growing up in the Midwest and moving to New York, growing up in the Midwest, I always felt like, the way I dressed was kind of, I always describe it as J. Crew with an edge and leather. So, that's not really a thing in the Midwest. And so growing up, people were always like, wow, she dresses like different. But then when I went to New York and was working in fashion, I think people started to take me more seriously. And then when I moved back and, was starting the business, I was kind of worried, people won't get my style. Because all my girlfriends in New York like loved it, they dress the same way. You've got your dress on with your leather ash shoes and just like the cool New Yorker look. And so initially people kind of didn't see it, and then like once I started showing them, wear this with this, and showing them how to build the outfit. It's so funny. I had the girl that works for me the other day said, I saw one of your customers. She bought this sweater and she was wearing this long sweater with cut off shorts, booties, and a white tank top. And I said, oh, you know why? Because she saw me wearing that the other day and literally bought the sweater off of my back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then like copied the outfit. And to me, like, I love that. I love that people can see like a fun new way to wear something. And, the whole reason I started my business was I wanted women to be able to look at themselves in a different light, dress a little different and feel like, what? I don't care that, Goody Two-Shoe next door doesn't have a leather jacket, but I'm rocking it with my pencil skirt and my booties to work today. I just wanted to make women feel like badasses.
Yeah.
But that has to be so inspiring to be able, flattering to be able to inspire somebody else's style.
Oh, yeah, it is. And, some people were like, oh, well, she dresses just like you. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. That's awesome.
Right.
If someone likes my outfit, I'm into it. She should be into it too. I'm not one of those girls who doesn't like tell where their outfit's from. I'm like, oh no, this is from my store. This is from my store. This is from a cute store in Indy, like that. You just want people to be passionate about it like you are.
Now, do you find, because I know you said initially, like, you had the online store and then you decided to get the trailer. So it sounds like the trailer is the key. Do you still get a decent amount of sales online now that people know you from the trailer, or is the trailer really kind of the moneymaker of your business?
Yeah, I would definitely say, I still get online business, for girls, like my friends in New York who can't go to the trailer. They definitely order quite a bit online. But I will say the trailer is, it's just pull up somewhere and people come in and they're surprised and they love it. And, there's nothing like, I always say it's kind of like an impulse store because you never know really where it's going to be next. And so you feel like you have to get that product right then and there. And, they kind of get like caught up in the emotion of it and they buy it because it's an experience. It's a different experience, one that they don't have and probably haven't had before. So yeah, the trailer is definitely the driver of the business for sure.
Now, you mentioned how you live in a small town. Do you have to travel far to get business, or is it popular where you are?
It's really become popular where I am because I'm the only one. So I'm next to another town called Kokomo.
Oh, okay.
And yes, it was the town that the song was made after. No, there are no bodies of water. Well, there's a river and it's really gross. But it is, it's probably got like 50,000 people maybe. So it's much bigger than the small town that I live in, but it's like 10 minutes away. And it's a bigger town, but still a small town. And, my girlfriends that I run around with kind of have a little influence in the town. And so they, were the announcers of my business, telling people, oh, you've got to check this out. You've got to check this out. And so I just started going to events and private parties and that kind of thing. And it's really become a really, cool thing for the people in Kokomo to have, because honestly, there's not a whole lot. And there's like one other boutique, and that's it. And the mall with like maybe 5 stores in it.
Oh, wow.
So and then I also drive, I'm not far from Indy. So I go to a lot of events down in Indy as well. I actually had a girlfriend start a wine truck, and she hosts a lot of events. So I like to go down and be with her, because the more people drink, the more they buy.
Oh, yeah.
Get him drunk. Get him drunk.
Right. Yeah, I saw the picture on Instagram. Her truck seems pretty cool too. And it seems like your trucks would complement each other, because they both are like white. And yeah, so I could just see like the whole theme and feel, and people getting excited to like drink a little and then go into the trailer.
Yes. And the best part is she always brings me a glass of wine. So
yeah. Have you traveled out of state?
I have not. I am looking to. My sister lives in Chicago, and it's about 2 hours from where I live. So I would love to get up there. My parents are worried about me driving around Chicago in the trailer. So,
got to get used to driving it.
Yeah, I just did Renegade Craft Fair this past weekend, and there was a fashion truck out there too, the Lost Girls, and they racked up.
I like that.
Really, like that would be a great event for you to try to do.
Yeah, I would love to. I love to like get into any new city, just because when people see it for the first time, I love to see their reactions, because it's really not what they expect. And so to get away and go to any city, but no, I mostly stayed in Indiana.
Okay.
Now, how hard is it for you to like find clothes to sell? Like, do you go out to shows? Do you mostly just do online wholesalers? Do you do local vendors, or like kind of a mix of the three?
I kind of do a mix. Luckily, from working in the industry, I knew quite a bit of different account executives at different brands. And, a lot of the girls that I had worked with at Kinsey have moved on to different brands too. So I've got really great connections in that sense, where if they found a brand that they started working for that they liked, and it was in the price range of my items and the aesthetic, I had no problem, buying through them. I also go to the Merchandise Mart quite a bit. One of my favorite brands for the truck that has done extremely well is Jack by BB Dakota. And I love the account exec I work with, and she's kind of like caught on to my style. So when she has a piece that she knows that I'll love, she'll shoot me an email and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'll usually end up going with it. I do a little bit of the online, but I am very tactile as well. And, working in the industry, I am very picky about the fabrics, and I get worried about how it's going to feel, or, if it's scratchy or too stiff, because I'm very much the person, like, if it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it. And I feel like that's how my girl is too. So I try to stay away from that unless I know the brand really well and like really believe in the brand. Mm-hmm. And then also I've designed a couple of tees that are kind of, geared towards the Indiana customer. Indiana is very big into like hometown tees and that kind of thing. So I work with a local guy. I just design them and then give them to him. And he's really incredible at making it like look aged and doing this cool distressed look to it. And so he's about the only one I work with locally.
And then how do you, before we began recording, you mentioned that you primarily do this like on weekends, right? Nights and weekends?
Yes.
How do you stay sane?
A lot of caffeine.
Right.
The people at Starbucks know me and know my order, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's a really difficult thing to balance. And I'm also, I've got my full-time job. I do Garish Gal on the nights and weekends. And I also I'm back in school because I wanted to learn how to code websites and create them because I enjoyed the whole process of making my website and I wanted to be able to do more with it and felt limited by the host site. So I have a full plate and then 2 more full plates after that. And I think, for a while when I first had all that on my plate, I wasn't doing a very good job of balancing it. And I was a terror. So I apologize to all my friends and family for that 2 months time span. But I've kind of realized, I've got to write things down. I've got to put things on the book. I got to schedule certain times out and I've got to learn to say no to people. So sometimes my friends say, hey, let's go do this. Randomly, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I've scheduled this time for Garish Gal and I've got to commit to that because otherwise I'm going to wait till the very last minute and get overwhelmed. And I don't want to get to that point again. So definitely was writing it down and saying no to people.
Yeah. You don't. Getting overwhelmed is, oh my God, it's the worst. Asking the shade. When I get overwhelmed, I'm a mess.
Psycho gal.
Same. I get hangry times 20 when I'm overwhelmed.
Right. That is Estrella. And I'm like, I need you to calm down.
Yes.
Now. But I mean, I think you're spot on. It's interesting. I just got a planner from this Etsy shop, BZ Handmade. And that planner, I mean, man, it changes your life. You need to make sure that you are carving out time to do things or you will get overwhelmed because you'll forget something, and then you're doing it at the last minute. And then because you're doing it at the last minute, it's not as good as you want it to be, or you could forget something. So I think the way you're doing it is really smart.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Took me a while to learn it, but it definitely has really helped, not to be freaking out every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Now that you're 2 years in, what are some of your lessons learned?
I have a lot of them. I'm a very big proponent of failure just because I've realized that I learn the most when I fail at something. So I always say I'll always try something once because if it fails, then I learn. And if it works, then I still learn. Mm-hmm. So I think probably one of the bigger ones is I rolled out this. When I first started, I rolled out this really big promo for the local college near me. So I live near Purdue University and I went to all the sororities and made these bags that cost way more than I should have paid for and put these little cards in them and went and spoke to each of the sororities at dinner time. And my price point at that time was a little higher because I had just started and I was buying the brands that I love to buy that are a little more expensive. And I realized going to these college girls is not the best option because, you're in college, you're broke. If your mom and dad aren't there,
right. They're
some girls don't even have mom and dad. So they're just oh, that's cute, but it's too expensive. I'm going to go to Forever 21.
Right.
So I realized that wasn't my target market and had to adjust and realize, my target market is 25 to 38-ish. That range of newer moms or young moms that want you to come show them how to look hot again after their babies and, show them a new way to dress and, just get them back up to date. Or just the young professional girl who wants to look cute and be able to wear it to work and then out later. That's my really big thing is, you can wear this to work and then you can throw on some heels and go throw back wine with the girls.
And how did you find that audience?
Really, I would say one of my absolute best friends, she is a mom and she has a little boy and a little girl and they're both 3 and 2. And she came to me when I started the business and she just said, I want you to come and show me how to dress again because my body's different and I don't know what to do. And so I kind of just showed her, like, this is how you dress it for when you feel like you're chubby today, or, you're feeling hot today. So this is how you work it. And she started telling all these other moms that, and then I became friends with them and they started shopping. And it really just became, they were sharing it on Instagram and telling everyone. And then really that demographic just really started flocking to the business. And then, when I first started buying, I was buying for what I would want to wear. And now when I go and buy, I think, okay, if I'm a young mom, what do I want to wear?
Now, do you offer like consulting too, like kind of style consulting where people can pay you to help them out or, look at their closet and, tell them what to wear and not wear?
Yes, for sure. So before, when I was in college, I worked at Chanel in Saks, and a lot of that was a lot of styling, and I learned quite a bit about personal styling and your closet. They were great about training for that kind of thing, and their big thing was owning your customer's closet. So when people come shop with me and they ask for that, it's definitely something that I go and offer. A lot of times I'll do it free the first time, but then I'll offer them like the clothes, so, you need to add this to here. You just add on my clothes and, do the consulting for free.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a bigger closet and she wants me to go through 200 different items,
right.
I'm
You're
not
like,
sitting
whoa.
there for 6 hours for free,
Right. I think that's like pretty cool because I feel like a lot of folks either struggle with that or either they just don't even have time, right, to like figure out what to wear. And they just want somebody to say, buy this, buy that. And then, this is how you make it work. So that's great.
Right. And I used to have a lot of my customers, I can't think of the name of the app right now, but there's an app, and do you remember the Amazing Closet and Clueless that would put our outfits together?
Mm-hmm.
They have an app like that. So you can take pictures of your clothes, and so you have them in this app and you can build the outfit. Because a lot of it is women don't know what's in their closet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally guilty of this too. I've got same 5 black shirts that look the exact same, but I had to have each one and then realized when I got home that I already had 5 more of those.
Right.
So I'd have to look up, I forget the name of the app. It's on my
I know
iPad.
exactly which one you're talking about. I'll see if I can find it too to include it in the show notes. But I remember seeing it. I was too lazy to actually take pictures of my stuff and organize it. But I thought it was a cool concept because I remember that movie too. And I was like, wow, when are they going to have something like this? And I was like, I guess we just had to wait to 2016.
Like every girl's dream to have that. I remember watching that and thinking, oh my gosh, someday.
Right.
And now, we have that ability. And I was a little lazy too. I got through like a third of my closet and realized I needed like 4 bottles of wine to make it through the rest of my closet.
Right.
So I gave up.
It's a lot. It's almost like I remember, I don't know if you ever watched Sex and the City, the HBO
almost
show.
Every episode.
Yes. And remember her closet, like it was so ridiculous. Like she needed that app, but I feel like a lot of women are in like Carrie's situation where they have so many clothes, they don't even know what to do with. And you're right. People just keep buying the same things because everything is just buried. So it's just, if you could offer your services to help them out, I think that's pretty cool. And people probably will be willing to pay a nice little chunk of change to have someone help them.
Oh, yeah. And this is how much I love Carrie Bradshaw. My roommate and I in New York were such big fans of her. We actually lived on the same street where her apartment was. There's not really an apartment there that matches the one that they had on the show, but it was the exact same. She lived on 73rd. And so we obviously had to live on 73rd on the east side.
Wow.
That's a fan.
Hashtag crazy fangirl.
I'm looking at your website now. Is this you in most of the pics?
No. It was to begin with just because I was there and it was easy. Now I have this girl, her name's Marley. She is gorge. And she's awesome, and she lives very close to me. So, and she's done modeling before. She's actually signed with the Helen Wells agency out of Indianapolis. And she is, like Miss Howard County and Miss Pageant. So she knows how to model. And I've been using her a lot lately. And I just love how she looks in the clothes. She has like this platinum blonde hair that just sets off everything. Like when she puts it on, I'm like, oh, I need to buy that right now. So it's slowly transitioning. Like some of the older stuff has me in them. I try to crop my head out of them because I am an introvert and hated being in front of the camera.
Okay.
So no, it's mostly Marley now. Thank goodness.
Oh.
Retired my modeling career.
One thing I like about your website, I haven't really seen it too much, is that you have a compare option for your items. I like that.
Yeah, that's integrated into the website, and I kind of went to my favorite websites and just like wrote down what I liked about them, so that when I was putting mine together, that I could have those things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did have a different host site before, and like I love to do the quick view things, and they didn't have that option. So I ended up like actually switching to a different host site because I wanted that option, because that's how I like to shop.
And who are you using now?
I was using Volution. Now I'm using BigCommerce.
BigCommerce. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I would say the only thing that kind of is a bummer about BigCommerce is they don't have an app.
Oh,
They
so
don't?
no POS. That's
No,
crazy.
Right? I mean, luckily I use Square, and Square is integrated into BigCommerce, but I wanted like a BigCommerce app so that I could see, when my orders come in, because if you try to access it from your iPhone website, it does not work.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I've kind of voiced my complaint a few times. I don't think that they're listening because they haven't come up with an app yet, but I still have hope.
Well, it's so crazy because when they're competing with places like Shopify, who has an app, you would think like they would do it, but maybe it's just not at the top of their list right now.
Yes, I know.
Weird.
And Volution even had one too, which I thought was weird because, they actually are headquartered in the same, like right next to each other. And they have a lot of crossover employee-wise. So I was just still confused why, they hadn't brought an app on, but who knows? Maybe someday.
Well, I'm sure once you get to designing your own websites, once you learn how to do that, you'll probably switch to something else.
Right. The end goal is for me to be able to design a whole one exactly the way I want it without using like a template from another host site, or having to pay those awful host site fees that I pay, that we all have to pay.
Yep. Well, maybe, for now, like just tweet at BigCommerce, because I've tweeted at a few like big companies, and surprisingly, sometimes they reply back or direct message you.
Oh, yeah.
Your tweets are kind of stalkerish, though.
But it's so weird. They know that everybody can see what you've said, and you've like tagged them like at BigCommerce or whatever. So they want to address it because they know other people are curious about it too and want to know the response. So sometimes, you just never know. Sometimes they do reply.
Oh, yeah. I did that with a brand. They sent me a horrible, horrible sweater that was not at all what I had purchased when I was at market. And I wasn't even supposed to take a picture of it, but I had taken a picture of it. And so I put the two up comparing what I was supposed to be getting versus what I received. And I had called, and their customer service girl was horrific. Like literally, I was so mad at the end of it. I was like, I'm going to report you guys to the Better Business Bureau. This is absolutely ridiculous to treat a customer this way. And so I tweeted about it, and I got a phone call from the VP of the company apologizing. They fired the girl, which I kind of felt bad about.
Don't.
But she shouldn't have been so mean.
Exactly. I mean, because that's the thing. It's like even like your intern, right? Like, let's say hypothetically you found out like she was being like mean to the customers or not doing what she's supposed to do. Like, she's a reflection of your company.
Exactly. So. Well, then they asked me to take the tweet down.
Oh, yeah.
So I did. But they did, refund me for these horrible sweaters. And I was hesitant to buy with them again. But it's been almost a year now, and I just placed an order. So hopefully I don't have any more issues.
You need. Well, they.
But if I do, I know who to call.
Exactly. Well, cool. Well, I just have like a couple of wrap-up questions just to help the audience get to know you a little bit better. Can you let me know, do you have like a favorite podcast, blog, book, or TV show? And if so, what is it?
For sure. I think probably everyone says Girl Boss as book and podcast. You know, because she has definitely paved the way in the retail industry, you know, and everything that she's done. It's pretty incredible. So I love Girl Boss. I am a big reader, so I read almost anything I can get my hands on that is related to business. I love anything by Patrick Lencioni. He is this killer business analyst who works with, you know, huge major corporations, but he has created like, you know, this incredible plan that will, you know, help any business, and it helps you as a leader. I think, you know, as a business owner, you're a leader as well. And when you start to bring people on, you necessarily probably don't have the leadership skills and know how to manage somebody. But so I like to read his books so I can get a better grasp on, you know, how to be a better leader in my business. And even, you know, when you're dealing with vendors, you're still a leader and you have to be able to stand up for yourself, because I know sometimes I'm young, I'm 24, and I started when I was 22, and I, you know, let some of the account executives walk all over me. And it took, you know, reading books and talking to people to realize, you know, you got to be able to stand up for yourself and be a leader, because this is your business, this is your livelihood, and it's ultimately your money on the line. So just anything leadership wise, I absolutely love. But Patrick Lencioni is thebomb.com.
Okay. Yeah, no, we'll make sure to link. I just Googled him just to make sure I was spelling his last name right. But yeah, I'm like, whoa, Lencioni. But Google found it.
Yeah, it's such a fun one to say, but it's really hard to spell.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely include a link in the show notes. If you could have any celebrity, entertainer, model, athlete visit your trailer, who would it be?
Oh, gosh. Well, the single young female side of me wants it to be Justin Timberlake.
No.
Oh my God. So Estrella is like, she's slightly infatuated. No, she is infatuated.
One time I touched his hand and it was the best day of my life. Like,
Jessica thinks she's married to him. She's not. I am.
oh, well, I hate to tell you, it's definitely me.
Right.
Okay. There's about to be uproar.
About to be what?
Over Justin.
It's so funny. I still remember Justin from the Justin and Brittany days with like.
Oh my gosh. I can't even talk about how much I loved them together. And you know, she hasn't been right since they broke up.
That is
and I
true.
just feel like that says so much about Justin Timberlake and how amazing he is.
She just like fell apart. Dang. Well, you know, I don't know. Estrella, you know, you're going to have to duke it out.
We'll let Justin decide.
But you know what? As always, though, we will tweet it out. And when this episode goes live, we'll be like, Justin Timberlake, if you're in Indiana, you need to stop by Garish Gal.
I think I might if he walked in there, I'd literally probably just fall over dead.
Well, then, you know, don't die. But if you kind of faint or something, then he might feel slightly bad and responsible and spend the whole day with you at the hospital or something like that. So it could work. It could work.
This could be a great plan.
Nishai, whose side are you on?
Oh, my bad.
But female-wise, I would say Chrissy Teigen, because I think she is absolutely hilarious. And I think it would just be such a blast to like have her in there. And I actually, I'm sold out now, but I used to have a shirt that said Chrissy Teigen is my spirit animal. I just know she tweeted one time, you know, she said she walks around with a note in her pocket that says John did it. So if she died, he would go to jail and couldn't be with anybody else. And I just thought that was absolutely hysterical.
Wow.
So I think I would just want her to come in just to, you know, be able to interact with her. And she's hilarious.
And she has phenomenal style too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And she has a hot husband who makes incredible songs about her. I mean, she's obviously doing something right.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, we'll make sure that we tweet at her too.
Yeah. She responds back a lot, so we might get a response.
Ooh. All right. And what do you like to do in your free time to just wind down and de-stress? And I know, like, when you have free time.
Right? That's what I was thinking. Oh, when do I have free time? I used to really be into fitness, but, as life progresses, now I think I'd rather eat tacos and drink wine than go to the gym in my free time. But I have found as a way to kind of balance everything out that doing yoga just kind of makes me shut down for a little bit. So I've started doing that again and reading a book. I just like to curl up in a chair with a glass of wine and a book and just kind of, close everything else off. And then always hanging out with my girlfriends. They're hilarious and I'm the only one that doesn't have kids. And so I like their little kids are like little drunk people. That literally they have to, I told her, I was like, well, until they're 5, you're just trying to keep them from like committing suicide. Because they like try to fall down the stairs and.
I know, they just like, I don't know. I feel like kids under 6, they're almost too fearless, right? They'll ride anything down the stairs, a garbage can, whatever, jump off of like couches, do double flips off couches, like anything and everything that they shouldn't be doing, they're doing. It's kind of crazy. I have nieces like that. Yeah.
And they'll eat everything.
Yep.
Like, oh, there's a bug on the floor. Oh yeah, let's try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a great way to just kind of, relax and laugh about life.
Yeah.
And one of my good friends started a school in Haiti. Oh, and cool. So I do an awful lot of work with him and his wife. And actually 10% of all of my profits I donate to education-based nonprofit organizations, and his is one of them. It's called Project 117. And he went down to Haiti, fell in love with it, and then bought land and built a school. And the kids in this village it's right next to an orphanage and then a very impoverished village. And I've been there, and it was really cool just to see, how kids with so much, disparity and poverty in their life, they were so happy. They didn't have to have the material things. They were just absolutely thrilled to have you there and just to be living life. And so I donate a lot of my time to helping Project 117. And obviously Garish Gal donates, 10% of the profits to Project 117. And his wife started a cooperative for women in the village because most of them dropped out of school. They can't read, can't write. They don't even know how to write their own names, some of them. And so we bought sewing machines, and she is teaching these women how to make product. And they actually made, makeup bags, and it was on an ABC affiliate program and completely sold out.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm working with her right now to come up with products to sell through Garish Gal.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and so Project 117 shirts are coming out soon, and I'm going to sell them through Garish Gal as well, just because it's like something that's so near and dear to my heart, and, something that I donate time and money to. And that's probably the most rewarding thing, at the end of the day, when you worked in the boutique and sometimes it's crazy hot out and the air conditioner can't keep up and you've been sweating all day, and you look at the final numbers and then you look at the donation that you're giving. It makes every drop of sweat and all that time spent so much more worth it. Especially when directly the kids that it's affecting.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We'll definitely include a link in the show notes too. Yeah, I'm looking at the website now. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's really done, incredible. And his, he had a vision board as well.
The vision board.
It comes back.
It comes back.
Yeah, and now he has like a vision video. I don't know if I'm going to go with a vision video ever. I know. It was so cool. He showed it to me as like a 3D model. I'm like, what are you doing in your spare time?
Wow. Is it like a 3D model of like the school? Like it was like kind of what he envisioned for like the school in the area?
Yeah, well, he's added phases on. So he's got one building and they're working on the next. And there's going to be 4 buildings in total. And so he and one of my other friends have created this whole vision for it. And it's like, I think it's actually on the website. It's a 3D model of everything. And it's so awesome, like way above and beyond my dollar store post board with printouts from Pinterest. But
hey, it works. It works.
Yeah. I mean, vision board importance right there.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I think you've decided on the title of this episode for us. It's all about the board.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
And Android or iPhone, and what's your favorite app?
iPhone for sure. I just bit the bullet and purchased the new one because my phone's about to die.
Which one?
I got just the regular 7 because I think the 6 is already big enough. Like I've got a little indent in my pinky, which a lot of people talk about now, like from holding my phone so I can text one-handed. So I don't know what kind of like damage I'm going to do if I do the plus.
It's bigger?
Yeah, it's huge. Well, I mean, it's the same size as the 6 Plus.
Oh, so you just had like the regular 6 before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And it still like made that little indent. So I was worried about what would happen if it would go bigger. Am I going to lose a pinky?
I know I have like the 6 Plus right now, and I'm like, when my husband has the regular 6, and I'm like, this is too small. Everything's so small. I'm used to like this gigantic screen now, so yes. I can't go back.
What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail?
I think I would probably move back out to the East Coast, leave my job, and just like completely try to franchise Garish Gal. You know, before I accepted the job that I'm in now, I was really considering moving and getting out of Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was curious about, I forgot to ask you like why you decided to go back to Indiana, which is very different from New York.
It is so different. And it was literally a culture shock when I got back. It was, you know, I wasn't used to that much space. And if you've ever been to Indiana, it's very flat with a lot of space. Mm-hmm. And so I remember just walking around my parents' house and saying, oh my gosh, there's just so much room. Like I'm overwhelmed. Right. And like going to the mall and being overwhelmed. But I moved back because my grandma is my absolute best friend. Mm-hmm. And she started having strokes. And I tried to fly home one day from New York out of LaGuardia and got stuck in a snowstorm and had to sleep there for 24 hours. Whoa. And it was one of those situations where I was just like, get me off of this island and to my house so I can be with my grandma. And I realized, you know, as fun as New York was and my experience there, nothing really mattered if I didn't have, you know, my grandma and the memories with my grandma. Mm. So, you know, moving back and starting this business, my grandpa and grandma and I have created some really incredible memories that I'm always going to hold on to. But I think I'm at the point now where, you know, I'm ready to get out of Indiana again. So I think if I, you know, knew that it was without fail, I would definitely move somewhere East Coast. I love Charleston and would love to set up Garish Gal there and have a store and then franchise out the trucks. So maybe someday.
Hey, dream big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I never even dreamed I would start a business, let alone have a fashion truck and have the success that it's having. So I've kind of learned, you know, it's not my timing or my plans, it's God's, and just to trust, you know, in the process and in the plan.
And don't forget the vision board.
And the vision board.
Exactly. The next one, the theme of the next one is expansion.
Right. You know, I put that vision board up there and, you know, just pray circles around it and see what happens. So.
No, that's amazing. I mean, I'm a true believer is like, if you want it and you work for it, then things they'll happen. You just need to
Yes.
want it bad enough and put in the work.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize the work you have to put in to get those things, but
True. Like, right. They think like, oh, if I just want it, it'll just come. And it's like, no, you might have some 4-hour sleep, where you're only getting 4 hours of sleep a night or, where
Right.
you're working 7 days straight, but it's to accomplish like your goals and dreams. So it has to be done,
Right. Yeah, for sure. Or, you have those people that think, oh, you own a business, so you must have all this free time and,
Right.
you must have so much money. Like, no, there are nights where you aren't sleeping because you're working all night or you're crying because you're worried about this, or this with the business. So it's a lot of sacrifice and hard work that goes into it to get to those dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can our listeners find you? Please let them know any websites you'd like them to go to or any social media handles you'd like them to know.
Yeah, for sure. So I have all the gamut of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. But all of those are at Garish Gal, GarishGal. And my website is shopgarishgal.com. I also have a blog for the business, which is garishgal.com. So they're all linked together too. You can get from one social media to the next, to the website, to everything. And I also have a Pinterest, but I don't know how up to date it is, but it's at Garish Gal as well.
No, perfect. Thank you. We really appreciate you coming on to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been awesome. And, I listen to you gals a lot as well. And just to hear all the different business women and leaders, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, women are like taking over, right? And
I know.
It's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. It just makes me, so excited to see women starting businesses and really owning them and making them successful, because that's motivation for each one of us, to uplift each other and make our businesses the best that we can.
Absolutely.
Hashtag boss babe.
Exactly. Okay, so I feel like the theme of this episode is the vision board. Everybody needs a vision board.
Or Post-it notes.
No. It's a vision board.
A vision board of Post-it notes.
Now, remember when we had Jessica Renan on? Jessica Renan, like in a recent episode, she had someone on that was talking about a vision board, and she recently posted, I think I got an email from her where it's like a group email or whatever, where she actually did like this really cool vision board. And essentially, for those of you out there who are like, what the heck is this vision board? Let's say you want a mobile boutique. Anything you see in a magazine, online, whatever, you print it out, tear it out, and then you just tape it to, it could be a cardboard board, it could be, just sheets of paper taped together, whatever. But basically, it's just this gigantic, almost poster board with all these pieces of different things that you want for your boutique or whatever you're doing your vision board for. So it could have like, let's say if you see like a couple of different shelving options from fashion trucks, in New York or wherever, and that you like, you'd print that out from their Instagram account and then paste it to this board. It's almost like going back like old school, like what we used to do in high school. Did you ever do that in high school?
I think so. I wasn't using Post-it notes back then.
No, but remember you probably were like cutting out like Janet Jackson or Paula Abdul or your favorite outfits or whatever, and you would tape them together in a book or a board or create your own poster. Well, essentially you're doing the same thing, but then where it helps is you can show other people this so they can have a better understanding of what you're trying to do. Or, it's just like a reminder of what you want to accomplish and achieve, and you can keep it in your bedroom, your office, or whatever. So I do really believe in vision boards. I even have vision books. And Pinterest is like my virtual vision board. So think about making it. Go old school. Get out the Elmer's glue, the tape, and you name it. I think you might find it to be very useful.
So her vision board helped her to start the business, and I'm pretty sure she's going to do a new vision board for when she gets ready to move back to the East Coast and start her franchise.
And before we go, another thing that I think is amazing is, and this is why I love asking the questions at the end, because, you get like little nuggets of information that you wouldn't get through like the regular part of the interview, like the Project 117. We're going to link to it in the show notes, but it's pretty amazing. It's like p117.org. And it's just amazing that someone just goes somewhere, they fly across the world, and they say, this is for me. And then they just stay there, build a little community, build a school, and make a difference. So I think it's cool that she's a part of that by donating some of her proceeds to something that is meaningful to her. And so, yeah, my hat goes off to her for doing it. It's pretty cool.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to go to iTunes, leave us an awesome review, and give us 4 stars if you can. And if you want to check us out on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, we are FFT_official_.
Yes. And don't forget to please rate us on iTunes. Just take, if you're at your computer right now, if you could just take 5 minutes to give us like an awesome rating, that would mean so much to us. And if you have time to actually write a review too, even better, but we'll take the stars. So, please do it. It'll definitely help the show. And thank you for listening today.
All right. Thanks for parking here.